States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion's in order to approve the minutes of the March 10th Manistee Township Board meeting and the March 30th, 2016 special board meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved, supported that the minutes of the March 10th, 2016 and the March 30th, 2016 minutes be approved and placed on file. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Carried. You've received a copy of your treasurer's report. What are your wishes?
Motion to accept and place on file.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved, supported that the treasurer's report be accepted and placed on file as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? And that's carried. Planning Commission, no accepted minutes.
They haven't met yet.
Meeting's next week,
Right.
The
Thursday.
meeting's next week.
No appeal.
No
It's
appeals.
been put on hold.
Okay. Correspondence in your packet, that's Hazardous Waste Day.
Yes.
Is that this one or is that the one that,
No, that's this one,
okay.
From the
which
Conservation
is
District.
down here under new business to do with.
Okay, well, you got it up here under Hazardous Waste Day, so.
Okay.
Anyone with anything to bring before the board at this time that's not on the agenda? Commissioner Dotz is unavailable this evening. He emailed the latest and greatest at the county level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read this to you as an update. County audit was completed at the county's April meeting. Lieutenant Falk received a $12,000 grant for the county wildfire protection plan. Stronach Township Supervisor asked Tom Smith, Drain Commissioner, to resign. Drain Commissioner Smith asked the Commission to front $12,781.33 to settle the Kettle Hole Drain legal bill for 82.4 hours billed for the closure hearing. The Commission questioned Smith at length and no motion was made to assist. Resolutions passed. 2016-7 U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, what is that, Arquilla?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. 2016-8 Sustain Our Great Lakes goes to the Planning Department. 2016-9 Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. 2016-6
Monumentation.
Yeah. Corner Post Peer Group members. 2016-11 Parkinson's Awareness Month is April. 2016-10 National County Government Month, April Safe and Secure Counties. And 2016-12 the fixed millage county 5.50, ISD 0.30, Township 1.50, total 7.30 mills on renewal, no increase. Central Awareness Board appointed, they appointed Cheryl Stephenson, Leslie Wilson, and Deborah Wisniewski to the Central Awareness Board. Northwest Michigan Workforce Development Board, appointment of Ken Weckenser, nominated by Chamber of Commerce. Reminder, Public Safety Committee is meeting on the 20th, 2 p.m. at the County Board of Commissioners room. There will be a prison liaison meeting on the 20th of April at 10 a.m. at the Oaks. Road Commission is at $129,000 to the plus side to the first 6 months of the budget. The Armory purchase criteria has been finalized, and due to changes in that, the County Commission will not involve any pass-through. The county never wanted to own it, just assist as if it had been a benefit to any local organization. West Shore Medical Center negotiations with Munson are ongoing with a target of July to have it completed. And he has been contacted a few times about Mill Ark Road and his need for repair. And that is the report from the county commissioner. If you have any questions, I can't answer them, you'll have to get a hold of the county commissioner. Or we can do that for you.
Is Millark and Jones Road the same road?
No.
It can't be, but it's,
No.
Jones is the.
Jones goes alongside the
Jones is-
fairground.
okay,
Around the
because I
gravel.
also mentioned was Jones Road at one time.
Yeah. Jones Road is, is that gravel
The
road?
section that Jeff was talking about is between 31 and 8 Mile. That's in, poor condition, existing
Right.
paved portion
Right.
of Muller.
31
I think that's,
But I believe, Mark, is there not a portion of Millark Road, if you will, north or west of 31 that is in the township?
That
Or
would
is
be-
Millark Road?
yeah.
Like Greavy, Todd Greavy?
Yeah,
Okay. Todd Harlan,
yeah,
those people?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
That's the east line of the township.
right,
Yeah, there's like 4 townships bordering that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Winneckama and Brown and Manistee and that, so.
Anything from zoning office, guy?
I got 2 receipts. One was for a new house, and one was for a detached garage in an area that it's not allowed, and that individual appealed my my decision to decline to issue the land use permit, so. But then something else has come up, so it's being delayed,
Okay.
so. And I don't know when or if that appeal will even be heard.
Where's the new house going?
It's going up there in Deer Ridge where Kieskowski
Okay.
had that little
Yep,
subdivision made.
Yep,
Yep, in there.
thank you.
Any questions for Guy?
No complaints even, so.
None?
None, except for garbage. You know, those are yours now.
The fire department, the fire chief is, who normally gives the report on, has been called out, he works for the Forest Service. He's been called out on an emergency Forest Service call, so he doesn't have his report. The liquor inspector, there are no significant changes. The Oaks Prison quarterly report, they meet as suggested in Jeff's minutes, or Jeff's email, that they'll meet the 27th of this month. And the Cromer-McGinnis drain, I know that the drain commissioner met here to meet with prospective contractors. The result of that meeting, I don't know, because I came back here and they were all gone already, so and there has been no report.
So the bids went out and he got bids,
The specs went out.
specs went out, okay.
I think that was like a mandatory pre-bid meeting, at least
I
when I
see.
saw advertising, and they're taking bids on the 20th.
Okay,
It is
That's what
two,
I
yes,
said.
it is
Two
two
sections.
projects.
Yeah.
One being the lining of the drain, the other being the outlet, or the outfall behind the hospital.
okay.
The other thing, the revenue sharing board will meet on the 13th of June here at the township hall to grant grants for the Cycle 1 2016 revenue sharing. Winneckama Township request under unfinished business, is that with regards to the Jaws unit?
Yes,
I've heard no more correspondence, and
okay,
I've talked with David several times.
okay,
It's my suspicion he may approach the group at the MTA meeting.
okay.
Under new business, Mr. Ken Cott is here from the MRA. Mr. Cott?
Good evening. Thank you for letting me come here and chat this evening. A couple things that I wanted to talk about, just give a brief overview of the MRA for 2015, and then talk about our future together for 2016. So, last year was completed my first year as the director of the MRA. It was a really great year for everything that we have done. We had an increase of overall participation in our programs. A little bit down for Manistee Township, but overall we were up considerably from 2014. We added some new programs. I had a first and second grade flag football program that we added. Worked on some new soccer camps. Just this past winter, we actually added a third and fourth grade basketball program. We've actually added some other soccer leagues with our existing club program. Looking to continue working to provide more opportunities for the citizens of Manistee County to participate in recreational activities, but things are looking very good. So happy to answer any questions about anything from last year or anything so far. Any questions at all for what we're doing or anything?
Do you keep a roster of township residents?
I do. Yep. In fact, tonight, as I talked to you about possibly renewing your contract with us, I'll present you with 2015's, every participant from 2015 from Manistee Township. So, sure.
And you mentioned Manistee Township was down slightly. Down, I don't know what you mean when you say down.
Sorry.
Others were up, other townships, you had more revenue from individual participation. How did Manistee Township slip?
What I mean, I can clarify, our registrations, our overall registrations for all of our programs were up this year.
Participation from Manistee Township?
Yes, participation with our registrations, I'm sorry, we're down slightly, only I think by 20 compared to last year, so yeah. Which could be a number of things. It could be the same amount of people participating with just not participating in as many programs, but the actual township the participants numbers were down just slightly as well, so.
So do you have a proposal for it?
I do, yeah. Our current contract that we have are currently, I think, still have 2 quarters of the current payment under that contract till the end of this fiscal year for Manistee Township, set to expire. I'm hoping that we can renew our contract for at least the next fiscal year for the township, or even possibly 2, as it was this past year. If the last one that we signed was 2014 to 2016. I'm only going to ask that we renew it for 1 year, but by all means, should the township want to go for a 2-year contract, that would be great. Previous contract I can show you, and I've actually got a little bit of a handout here for you guys to look over. The top sheet there, if I could. There's one of those for everybody. And then underneath that, there's the participant list of everyone from Manistee Township, along with a blank contract to look over. Okay, sure.
What do you recall? I'm sure you can. What was our contribution in the past?
The last 2-year contract that we signed was an annual amount of $10,000 paid quarterly. And that was, as I said, for 2014 through 2016. So once everybody has that, I can kind of briefly go through that sheet right there in front of you.
Okay.
So for 2015, Manistee Township had 133 residents that participated in our activities, which equaled 249 activity registrations. Trying to maybe clarify a little bit more of what we're talking about there. We do have scholarships available. Basically, the scholarships are, if a family is under financial hard times, they can come into our office and apply for our scholarships. If they qualify based on the state of Michigan guidelines, we will waive their registration fees so they can participate in almost all of our programs. Manistee Township had 5 scholarships that were awarded out, totaling $150. Now we offer those to everybody throughout the county, regardless of where they live, but that's just something that we offer to try and get as many people participating in our programs as we can. This year, because our participation was so high, our program fee, which is the formula in the first paragraph there, we kind of talk about, our program fee was down because we had so many people participating. So based on the amount of participation from Manistee Township, I'm actually asking for less than we have asked for in the past. So currently you're at $10,000. We'd ask that you contribute between $8,868 and $9,754. So based on the formula that we have for each individual township on the amount of participation from each township. That's where the formula comes out to this year. Obviously, I would ask that we continue at $10,000, but just a kind of brief overview there. So, questions so far?
Well, we appreciate you bringing this forward now, because very soon we're going to be into our budget process.
Exactly. I try to give you a little bit of time, anyways. You know, as much as we can. So.
Any questions?
So.
Thank you, sir.
No, not a problem. And one other thing, if I may, the last time I came here, which I think was last February, I believe, we spoke about using the tennis courts for pickleball use, if you remember. I never got around to getting that done this past year. However, I've been working with the group out of Arcadia, that Arcadia Bear Lake area, that are really passionate about it. It sounds like they're willing to help get lines painted on it this year, possibly within the next couple weeks. I think they kind of want to get started with that. So, is that still on the table, or?
Kind of stand by, because
Okay.
I applied for a grant to have it all redone.
Okay, good,
Resurfaced.
wonderful.
Yeah, and at that point,
Mhm.
it's restriped by the resurfacing group,
Okay.
and they will stripe it for pickleball.
Oh, wonderful. Good. That's great news.
So
I
just
know.
kind of stand by. Or,
Yeah, not a problem
and
at all.
I should know in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
We're going to get the money, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's great.
But you're welcome to use it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think they're going to come take a look at it too. I know they're very excited. When I talked to them about it last year, they were super excited to possibly have another place to play. It's growing pretty big around here, a lot quicker than I realized it was. So hopefully they can get another place to play. So,
Okay.
okay.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You as well. Mr. Dennis McKee is here from Consumers Power Company, just to, I know some of the work has already been done, Dennis,
Yeah.
but just to put people's mind at ease that nobody's stalking them or, you know.
Yeah, I'm happy to chat. At Consumers Energy, we are updating our electric meter technology. The new meters that folks are getting have a yellow label on them. That's how you know that the meter's been upgraded. And the reason we're upgrading our meters is because right now, with the technology that we've been using for decades, the meters that we have require a person to get in the car, drive to a house, walk up the driveway, look at the meter, punch in the numbers, run from the dog, slip on the driveway. The new meters just send us a text message at night letting us know how much electricity each customer has used. That's great for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gets us out of the business of estimating meter reads, which is a huge issue for us right now. As we get out of winter and we've had bad weather, bad roads, bad visibility, we've underestimated some bills, and so people are getting true-up bills that can be shocking. They may not have had their meter read an actual read for months, sometimes longer, in remote areas. So these get us out of the estimated meter read business. People get an actual meter read every single month. That also means that folks, after they've gotten the new meter, can go online, look at their home energy use information online. Are you pressed, by the way, back there? Writing? Read media? Because I've got a news release. If you need. Okay. You're taking copious notes. I'll make sure if I get quoted, I'm going to talk slowly. All right. So no more estimated meter reads, and then online access to energy use information. I was talking with this gentleman in the back a moment ago. The day after a meter gets installed and we start getting reports, the customer is able to go online, check home energy use information online. That's good for a couple of things. They can see how much energy they're using by the hour during the day. They can also have an idea, I think more importantly, of what a bill is going to look like before it arrives every month. They can see if they're trending higher or lower than what's typical. People like that. And then finally, beginning this fall, the meter will have the capability of contacting us, letting us know where there are power outages. It's going to enhance our capabilities because we're still going to rely on word-of-mouth information, phone calls from our customers, but there will be some scenarios where customers aren't home able to call us, that the meters will notify us and let us know that there's a power outage even when folks aren't there and we need to start restoring power. So that's the electric system. Anybody have natural gas with us here, or is it all Michigan? All Michigan? Michigan. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. In our combination areas where people get gas and electric, we also upgrade the gas meter. It reports to the electric meter. We don't need to send out anybody to read either meter. So we've got 335 meter readers in the state. We'll need 200 fewer of them. as we've been moving slowly across the state since 2012 when we started this program with plans to be done by 2017. And employees have retired in other positions along the way. We've been able to plug in meter readers along the way so nobody's lost a job, which is important to us. But we're going to be more efficient in our ability to provide services to our customers, and we're going to have more services to do that. So what we're sending out to our customers, your residents, some of you will be familiar with these, some have seen them. First, we send out this blue card, letting folks know, hey, we're going to be there in about 30 days. If you've got any questions, you can go online or give us a call. Just upgrading the meter, not part of a government surveillance program, anything like that, not a United Nations conspiracy or anything like that. There are all kinds of myths and misunderstandings out there. So this starts to steer people toward our website if they've got questions or they've heard rumors or anything like that. Then, 2 weeks before we get out there to replace the meter, we send this letter. This is sort of the public safety letter. It lets folks know we'll be driving a small white car, typically a white Ford Focus. It'll say Consumers Energy on it. We'll be wearing our safety gear, safety vests, and our employees carry their employee IDs with them so they can be identified as legitimate utility workers. I'm going to run into a lot of scammers in Manistee County, but in other places you'd be surprised. So we send this out to all of our customers about 2 weeks in advance before we get there to upgrade the meter. Yeah. And then finally, on the big day, you can imagine there's nothing more exciting than getting a new meter. Children riding their bikes up and down the sidewalk saying, the new meters are coming, the new meters are coming. We get out there, knock at the door, replace the meter, takes a few minutes, leave this beautiful green commemorative door hanger on the door, letting everybody in the neighborhood know who's got the new meters. We try to do it all at one time in the neighborhood so there's no jealousy about who's got a new meter and who doesn't. I'm joking a little bit there though, because we actually upgrade the meters by meter reading route. And so there's the potential that a meter reading route would end at one block. And then the next block might be another meter reading route. And the way we lay out our sequencing, it may be a week to 3 weeks or more before people on the next block actually get their new meters, depending upon how the river, lays out roads. We, unlike just about every other organization that pays attention to jurisdictional lines, we don't. A single meter reading route could cross 3 counties and 4 townships, So at any rate, that's it. And then finally, you've got these brochures, nice general public information brochures. A couple of important points. The first panel, which says, how does it work, then what's in it for me, and then when will I get mine? How does it work? And Catherine may have mentioned this to you before, Dennis. We're the first large utility in the United States to utilize the cellular tower system for reading meters. There are millions of so-called smart meters that have been installed across the country. Different ones use different technologies for being read remotely. We're the first one to use cell towers. The reason we're able to do that is because we're one of the last ones to install. Great Lakes Energy, they finished upgrading their meters about 7 years ago. DT over Detroit, they took care of theirs. So we're sort of the last one. So we're using the latest technology for this, and we're finding it's a really good solution for us. So we get this once per day text message that only tells us how much electricity's been used. It doesn't tell us how anybody's been using their electricity, again, who's growing tomatoes in his basement or anything like that. Just tells us how much electricity's been used. And then what's in it for me, as I mentioned, online access to energy use information, and then no more estimated meter reads. Big deal. And then finally, this last panel is when will I get mine? And it's important for folks to see that, as we get to certain areas, people wonder whether we're only upgrading meters in their area, their town, their county. We're doing this across the state. We've got 1.8 million electric customers that we are upgrading. Our service territories in the Lower Peninsula. And so we're about halfway through. We've installed more than 900,000 of those since we started in 2012. Started in the Muskegon area, worked our way to Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, up to Traverse City, over to Flint, Manistee, Ludington, Lansing, Jackson. That's the sequence. And so various reasons why we're doing it in that particular order. It has to do with the size of towns and where our resources are. So that's the information that I've got for you. I'm happy to try to answer questions you may have about us upgrading our meters.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Must have to turn off the power.
We do, you know.
When you pull the meter? No?
It's a great question. You know, we do with our residential customers, and this is a residential size meter. You know, small business, insurance company, barber shop, place that I go to very frequently, they might have a meter this size. So we're going to pull the meter, and there's going to be a power outage of 3 to 5 minutes just about every time. When our tech pulls the meter, tech looks at the jaws that these blades go into, make sure that there's going to be a nice tight fit and so forth. We're going to have good connection there. Commercial and industrial customers have larger, longer meters, and after we've upgraded the residential meters, we go back and we upgrade the commercial and industrial meters. 90% of the time, there's a bypass switch on commercial and industrial customers. We don't have to interrupt power. 10% of the time we do. We still send out a lot of information to everybody, letting them know what we're doing, why we're doing it, when we're doing it. But with 10% of our customers, there's hand-holding, where we actually have to cut power to our commercial or industrial customers. So we set up an appointment with them, and they typically want that to occur at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, when we're going to pull the meter. So we do a lot of that. But our customers too can contact us. They don't need to be home when we're upgrading the meter, but if they want to set up an appointment, they can do that. They can give us a call, we'll schedule something, we'll get out there and you're going to watch us pull the meter. It only happens once every 20 years, so why not?
Do you knock on the door?
Absolutely, knock at the door first. You know, it's funny
Say, hey,
because,
we're here to change your meter.
especially this time of year, tax season, people are getting ready to push send on TurboTax and all of a sudden, boom. So we don't want that to happen. So yeah, we always knock at the door.
Well, we're concerned about, there's a lot of elderly people in this area.
Yeah.
Somebody maybe on some medical equipment that needs to have uninterrupted power.
So we have people on dialysis and life support systems and so forth. We have them coded in our system. We know who those people are if they've contacted us to let us know who they are. But we've also sent out a couple of mailers to them, so if they needed to make an appointment or have additional communication with us, they know the vehicle for doing that. Yeah.
Well, I wanted you to, I know you've already been in the area and already upgraded some already, but we haven't had any concerns or complaints, but I thought we'd have you give your spiel just to let people know what's going on.
So this month and next month we'll be finishing up, but we are a little bit behind, and so it may drag on a little bit longer than that, but really April, May will be the bulk of Manistee County, depending on where you live.
Great.
And I'm not going to run off. I'll stay here for a while and see what I can learn. If you guys get into something complicated, I may take off, but we'll see. You have a long agenda?
No, we go through it.
All right.
Thank you, Dan. Any
Sure.
questions?
My
Any
pleasure.
further questions from the audience? Thank you, sir.
All right.
I'm going to alleviate from the agenda just a little bit. Mark is here from the Road Commission. We're going to talk a little bit about Millard Road. So less than a half a mile from Millard Road.
Do we kind of go through the scope of work?
Yeah, just a minute. Let me hand these out, if I may, Mark.
Excuse me, since you're bringing the camera,
I will move.
I think the viewers have seen enough of me for one evening. So
That's because it's sunny, but you got to.
So you want to go over here?
Head right back over here.
That'll work.
So this is this.
Yeah, that's, what I gave you is just a small copy of what Mark.
Oh, the legal side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mark.
Anyway, this is for the Millard Road, basically our reconstruction and paving project. And that would be from River Road that goes to the east. It's kind of like between River Road. Okay, it's the part that's currently gravel. This project is a little over 4/10 of a mile long. And what it would involve is basically reconstructing, regrading the existing gravel roadway. We've got tree removal, stuff of that nature. Putting a new sand subbase down where it's needed. I think most of the soils are fairly sandy, but I think there's some areas that might have some clay. So, you know, we've set it up for possibly putting some sand in. Then you'd have a brand new gravel base for the roadway. And then it would be paved. We'd construct new ditches, put in culverts, you know, where necessary, stuff of that nature. And this, we gave you an estimate way back in June of last year, and kind of the intent is it would be pretty much a four-way split. because this is actually a section of road that borders Brown Township and Manistee Township. The tribe has offered to volunteer also, and so it'd basically be 25% for all 4 agencies, the road commission, the tribe, Brown Township, and Manistee Township. And we actually had a consultant basically do some survey work and put together some base plans, and I'm going to, put pretty much a basic design on that. And like I said, it would be once it's totally reconstructed, it would be paved, so it would basically finish that entire section, River Road, all the way out, through the other townships. And we will be getting a hold of the utility companies fairly soon just to see what's out there. I know there's a buried telephone, and I know there's some pipeline crossings too. So we need to pretty much assess, what we have for utilities. We may need some, especially like the telephone, and add some relocation before, we get in there. So, and so the intention is basically, get signed agreements, and then sometime this summer, we'd be able to start on the project. The first thing would be, basically tree clearing. We have a lot of trees on the west side of the road. On the east side, there's the power line that was put in, a while ago. So we don't really have any clearing on the east side, but, on the west side, we have some clearing work to be done, first before we get into, grading work and ditches, so. And the estimated total cost for the project, the reconstruction and paving, was $282,000. So that's basically an estimate. We will take, once we get further in identifying our 2016 local projects, we're going to have a few other jobs that might need some paving work. What we'll do, we'll take bids for the blacktop paving, for this project also. The estimated unit price per ton, I believe, is pretty, I think I use like $62 a ton or something. And I think that should be conservative. I know I've talked to Browning Peace from Elmer's back, within the last month or so, just to kind of, if you can look at his crystal ball to see, what blacktop prices will do this year. And he pretty much tells me that they should be pretty close to what they were last year, if not maybe even cheaper because of the price of oil. Now next year, with the increased transportation funding and everything, in my opinion, things are probably going to go up because, contractors and that have been starving for so long, they're going to have probably a lot of work now, and they can kind of pick and choose. So, but yeah, just basically I did put together an agreement for Manistee Township. That would have been the one attached to the letter that I gave you. And like I said, it would basically be a four-way split. And I attended Brown Township last night and gave them pretty much the same agreement, because it'd pretty much be the same estimated cost. I've talked to Steve Parsons from the tribe a couple days ago, and I think they've got like some special type of agreement, so we're going to, actually I think they're working with Mason County on something right now. So Steve said once they finalize that agreement, that way we have a better handle on what they're going to expect, because I think their agreement might have to be a little more detailed than our normal, Township Road Commission agreement. So, yes, sir.
Mark, when would you expect completion of this?
We're hoping to be done this year, later on this year.
Okay.
That's kind of the intention, unless we run into some type of snag. Like I said, I'm going to get a hold of the utility companies. I'm hoping there is no major pipeline that runs the length of it. I know there's some crossings, but typically telephone relocation in that area, that shouldn't be anything, major. And we have, like I said, we have some trees to deal with and everything too. And I'm not sure, you've probably seen all the articles lately about the, basically, what's it called again? I think about the red oaks. Yeah, oak wilt, and and I'm not certain in that area. I'm not a forester, so whether the trees in that one area oak or not. But if so, I think that window is like April 15th tomorrow to July 15th that you should try to avoid.
Right.
Kind cutting trees or, doing brush cutting,
Oak
stuff
owns
like
a,
that.
an oak tree.
Right, right, but, that wouldn't, it's only 0.4 of a mile, so, the whole intention is, if everything goes well, to reconstruct it and, pave it this year. And, worst comes to worst, it could be totally reconstructed, with a gravel surface and sit through the winter and then just pave it next year and, put gravel shoulders once it's paved, so.
We'd sure like to have it done this year. We can.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah, that's
talked
kind of
about
the
it for another year.
intention, yeah.
If it drags out to next year, this agreement holds for next year as well.
Yeah, and this is an estimated cost, but the intention is to do it this year. Unless I said if something major comes up, we find out there's a major pipeline down through there that's too shallow that has to be relocated and the utility company can't go in and, move it out of the way, but we don't anticipate that at this point in time.
Consumers Energy doesn't have gas. We have a transmission line.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mark? I think we should do this project, we're talking about it long enough.
Yep.
And once we get like the agreements, from all, the other three agencies, then we can, pretty much proceed with it. But like I said, first thing we have to look at is, the tree situation and that, so.
What's your wishes?
I'd make a motion to go ahead with it.
Is there support?
I support it, but can we discuss it?
We will. It's been moved and supported that we proceed with the Millark Road project, 0.436 miles, as presented in the proposal from the Manistee County Road Commission. Our portion is $70,500. Discussion.
Because this is an estimate, what could it possibly turn into? I mean, like 70,500 is what the estimated cost is, but if all the parties don't come to the table, I mean, like, do we revisit that?
Well, I believe in that situation, say, Brown Township, or, I've talked to Steve Parsons, he's been telling me quite a few times they're going to participate. We're not going to force only Manistee Township to partner with us, and that, the agreement can basically be canceled if that was the case.
I think we're in agreement to the proposed estimate.
Yeah.
What we're agreeing to.
Yeah, well, the intention is, like I said, to have that four-way split and everybody on board.
Yeah, I've talked to Steve Parsons about it.
Yep, yep.
We were gonna do it last year, but they didn't have it on their tip
Right,
schedule, so.
Right. right, and we feel, I mean, it is an estimated cost, and when you are doing a road reconstruction project, and then, like I said, I feel the paving, the unit price, would be a contractor doing that work, not us. I feel that estimated unit price is, conservative, but when you're doing dirt projects, I mean, we feel that's conservative too, but it's not, it's not etched in stone. Just like anything, we hope it's done less than what's been estimated.
And then, I guess, if it does come in less or more, we get 25% of actual cost.
That's all,
When the
that's
project's
correct.
done.
Whatever the actual final cost is.
Okay.
And if we did run into something that's all of a sudden you get into and there's something major, we would definitely, notify everybody and then see, where we proceed from there, so.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Fino?
Yes.
Ms. Janowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Taylor is yes. Mr. Berquist?
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion carried.
Very good, thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mark. We'll get the executed document, we can probably
Sure.
sign it as we're
You
talking
can-
here, you can take it with you.
Yeah, whatever. So I've got 2 others to get yet, so it's no big hurry. So, thanks.
All right, we'll get it to you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anything else for Mark while he's here?
Do you want me to just give you a quick update? I can, as far as road commission if you want.
Sure.
Okay. Mainly, obviously, hopefully we're done with the winter maintenance. I know last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we actually did have a couple trucks out on Saturday and Sunday. I think mostly up in the northeast, had a little slippery road conditions. But right now, just the continuous pothole patching, which there's no end to that when you have probably half your roads that are, poor to very poor condition. There's unfortunately a lot of potholes. Doing some tree work, drainage work. We have some like maintenance ditching we're doing in select areas. Some crossroad culverts that you always find in the springtime that are really poor condition, and you get settlement in the roadways, so we've replaced a few of those already. So mostly drainage work and stuff like that. Kind of starting to get scored away with possible jobs this summer. I know as far as local projects, we're going to be doing a certain amount of chip seal work with blacktop wedging. I know Arcadia Township is going to do a number of roads. Onakama Township wants to do some, and I know you have one. I'll be giving you an estimate on Olson Road, blacktop wedging and chip seal. It'll be coming probably your next meeting. And the Cotton Suda project that is slated for 2017 construction, because that basically has small urban, MDOT small urban funding. Actually, I think it's federal small urban funding, $375,000, and then the tribe is actually participating on that too. And then whatever local funding we need, from the road commission, because we pay for the design engineering, the construction inspection, stuff like that. So that'll be a good project to finally get done, because that section of road is in really bad conditions. It's one of the worst that we have here in the county. So, and that's about all I have, unless you have questions.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Somewhere I heard that you're going to be closing the river crossing in Stronach for a certain period of time?
Yeah, that's going to be at the Little Manistee,
Yes.
at the 3 large
The reason I
culverts.
asked that is
Yep.
all that traffic's going to be coming through here, and I guess to just make people aware that, because there's a lot of truck traffic.
We will have, once we get a handle on when we're going to start, it's going to be this summer sometime. It'll be closed for probably a week or 2. We're going to have a detailed detour signage set up for it, because what it is, there was 3 large culverts there at the Little Manistee River crossing right now, and we've had continuous erosion problems, especially on the downstream, the westerly side of it. And so what we're doing, and we actually have a permit from the DEQ and then a permit from the Corps of Engineers. We're going to remove the guardrail there at the crossing, redo the embankment, and then put in what they call heavy stone riprap. So like on a geotextile liner, so it'd be the bigger stone like this for pretty much more permanent repair, at that crossing. And it's pretty tough, especially all the truck traffic and that, for us to do it, with an excavator sitting on
I
the
guess
truck.
it's just
So
awareness
yes,
for 55 Parkdale Avenue, because there will be a large amount of truck traffic.
we will have before we start the project, we'll actually have a media release. We'll notify pretty much everybody. I know we've already talked last year to like Martin Marietta and PCA and whatnot. So, and we'll have something in the Advocate and wherever else to make people aware of it, because it's unfortunately it's something got to be done, and there is definitely a lot of trucks going through there, and especially logging trucks going to PCA.
Well, it started out as riprap, and believe it or not, in Manistee, it ended up being a new bridge, so.
Yeah. Oh,
But it is just riprap though, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. See, there was discussion before my time that somebody wanted to basically replace that with a bridge. A real bridge. I think there was, I mean, that's what I was told, but I think there was some type of opposition, I'm not sure, but I mean, you know, I'm sure eventually down the road, something will have to be done, you know, with the 3 culverts, but I mean,
But
you
not
know,
this time.
as far as, right, it's mostly, like I said, erosion repair, restoration, so. Yes, sir.
Mark, I shouldn't say for your information because you're probably aware of it. But anyhow, I've had people ask me different times about Far Lake Road, the culverts, south of Shale,
Yep.
north of Bentoski,
Mhm.
in that stretch. I don't know, but I am aware of there being a problem at times. The water is over
Sure.
the road. Whether the culverts are plugged, I don't know. I obviously haven't stuck my head down in
Sure.
there to check them out. But so that you and the commission is aware of that and
Yep.
whatever can be.
Yeah, we're fully aware, but I think Dennis has talked to Dan Close about it a few times, and Dan asked me to look at it. I've looked at it before, within the last few years, a couple times. And we also actually, I was out there, I don't even know if it was last year, it might have been in 2014, and we took some survey elevations, you know, where the water goes over the road. And it's, sometimes when you got, we'll have to see what we can do with that culvert and possibly replace it and upsize it. You know, but sometimes when you get water, especially being it's all a lot of swampy area, it's pretty tough if you do have water going over the roadway to compensate for it. You know, because sometimes it takes a little bigger culvert.
Would
you know.
much prefer not to get the drain commissioner involved.
Well, I'm not aware of it being a designated county drain, you know. Yeah, I'm not, yeah.
What is the time frame, may I ask?
On which one?
On the Little Manistee?
Little Manistee? It'll be sometime this summer.
Thank you. And then what's the window? Month, 2 months?
No, it's only gonna take us week, 2 weeks at the most.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're just doing basically, redoing the embankment, putting in heavy riprap
Thank you.
along the river. In fact, that one, I'm trying to think, there was somebody from Consumers I need to talk to
That's what I'm
about the
thinking.
power line. Are you the guy?
No, I'm not the guy, but I know who the guy is.
Yeah, because I talked to Dan Close, because his wife obviously works for Consumers.
Could you know, Eric Gusted from the city.
You're right,
You know,
right,
start with him and he'll get you the right guy.
right, yeah, because I know there was an overhead power line that runs diagonally, so we want to make sure they do something with it before we get in there, so. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Explore the shores. Were you gonna give Linda's report on that?
Well, it's not a report.
Okay,
There is a kickoff meeting
20th?
on the 20th, next week. And it precedes the planning commission meeting, which she's a board member of. And she'd like to attend, and because the priority site that was identified in the recreation plan was some kind of access on the Big Manistee River, either by the 55 bridge or maybe at that observation structure back, you know, along 55 there. Anyway, she just wanted board support to attend that meeting. That's what
Sure.
since she couldn't ask the planning commission in time.
We don't need a motion or anything for her to attend that meeting.
I don't think so.
She's welcome to go to it, sure.
All public.
Okay. That's what that was all about.
Okay. Zoning board and planning commission appointments. On the planning commission, Clara Sari and Linda Feinhout. Their terms expire this year. They've both been contacted and asked to serve for the next 3 years. They both agreed. We would need a motion to reappoint Linda Feinhout and Clara Sari.
We would, and
Individuals.
their new term will end,
3 years.
thank you.
I can give you the exact dates. Yeah, we can do it.
Individually or
Sure.
put together?
4/30 and 18, we can do them individually, we can do them together.
That's fine, sit still. I'll make a motion to reappoint Linda Feinhouse to the Planning Commission.
I second that.
Move supported that Linda Feinhouse be reappointed to the planning commission. Any discussion?
Should I not vote?
She's done a fine job previously, would be my point of discussion.
Sure. Yes, she has. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
I think I abstain.
Okay. Clara?
I'll make a motion to appoint Claire Sari.
I'll second.
Been moved and supported that Clara Sari be reappointed to the planning commission for a 3-year term. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Carried. Also for reappointment is Barry Elder, who's on the zoning board of appeals. His term also is up this next month, or this month. And I've contacted Barry, and Barry is interested in serving for another 3 years, so I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Barry Elder to the zoning board of appeals.
I'll motion to reappoint Gary to the Board of Appeals.
I'll support that.
Been moved, supported that Barry Elder be reappointed to serve on the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you very much. Household Hazardous Waste Clean Sweep Day. We've got correspondence, you've all received your correspondence from Conservation District having their Clean Sweep Day on August 20th, 2015. It doesn't say where. Should ask Mark, but I think it's at the road commission.
That's where it has been.
That's where it was last year.
We contributed to this in the past, correct?
Yes.
Is it the same amount?
No, actually, this is less than last year.
Oh, 2 people asking for less money.
That must be a line.
If everyone's aware of the clean sweep, or the hazardous household clean sweep collection day is where you can get rid of things that you can't put in your normal garbage. Not everything, not latex paint, not tires, not batteries. There's a list of things that you can get rid of, but it's I think last year they were overwhelmed by the amount of people that participated.
People got turned away, I remember there were complaints because it was filled up. The end of the day, they were lined up in the driveway up there, if I recall.
Really?
I talked to Sarah Archer about this, and she said that they're gonna do a better job. She had a couple volunteers back away or something at the last minute or something, I don't know what it was. This would cost us 32 cents per resident to participate in this, which I think is reasonable, to get rid of anything that somebody might want to dump in the water or flush down the toilet or anything like that. So the cost of the township is $1,150.
It is. And I've already had 2 phone calls finding out whether or not it's going to exist this year.
I think it's a worthwhile effort, and I think that, I personally think we should participate.
I'll
So,
make a motion to participate in it at the cost so stated.
And I will second.
it's been moved, supported that we participate in the Conservation District's Household Hazardous Waste Clean Sweep Collection Day for $1,150. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Carried. Thank you. Unfortunately, the next item on the agenda is the city water contract. There's individuals in this office that have been working very hard on securing that contract, and unfortunately it ends up, I didn't get one of those little lights.
Well, I've got some back here.
Oh, good. I didn't either.
There's some flashlights there, okay? I'll make sure I leave a couple more too.
Yes, please.
I apologize.
I'm sorry, Dennis.
I do have.
Yeah,
another-
before you leave.
You know, Steve Benash, managing editor of the Ludington Daily News. Do you know him at all?
No.
Okay, you read the Advocate up here. Anyway, he's retiring, and there is a little activity in commemoration of his retirement that I would like to stop by before I go home. Okay?
Please do, please do.
All right, take care. Good luck.
Thank
to
you.
Thanks. Bye now.
Good night.
Sorry for the interruption. Back to the
Yes,
city
sir.
water contract.
That's how the city water contract's gonna go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we don't have the final draft. We had
Yeah.
anticipated having the final draft tonight, but we don't have it, so. So that's that. You've seen the bills for April? As presented in April, from March 10th through April 12th. What are your wishes?
Make a motion to allow the bills paid as presented.
Is there a second? There's a second, okay. It's been moved and supported that we pay the bills as presented. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Carried. The planning commission will meet April 21st, 7 PM here at the hall. MTA is Wednesday, April 27th at the Norman Township Hall. The Bar Lake Improvement Board's next meeting is June 6th, is that correct?
That's correct.
Here at the hall. We didn't have it on the agenda, did you want to give any update on they did have a meeting here recently, correct?
You had a meeting
Yep, Monday night.
Monday night.
Any updates?
They're gonna do a survey mid-May. You guys, make sure I'm saying this right. And then probably treat in June, based on the survey results. That's really the only news.
And we're into the,
This is the third year of treatment, the second year of the assessment,
okay.
special assessment.
The Manistee Zoning Board of Appeals, if there is one, will meet May 3rd. The next regular meeting of the Manistee Township Board will be Thursday, May 12th, here at the Town Hall at 7 PM. Any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to address the board, the township board as the governing body over the Bar Lake Improvement Board. I have some concerns and questions about the board, if I might.
I'm more than happy to take your questions, but okay, go ahead.
In the Bar Lake Improvement Board minutes of July 13th, 2015, Member Gans, who sits on the Improvement Board, made the point that the resolution to the petition that they presented to the Manistee Township Board only spoke of invasive weed control rather than all of the items in the petition. And it was moved by Member Gans with the support of Member Fineout to request the Township Board amend their resolution to include all items that were in the certified petition. So my question is, what are the duties of the Bar Lake Improvement Board? Is there, because Mr. Gans wanted the Township Board to amend the resolution, and I was at the Monday night meeting, it was established that it was presented to the Township Board and they denied amending it if the resolution is as stands, which, according to the resolution,
Addresses invasive species.
yes, the Bar Lake Improvement Board is directed to take such actions as may be necessary in accordance with Part 309 to eradicate or control invasive aquatic species in Bar Lake, which is to determine the scope of the lake improvement project necessary to eradicate or control. So my question is, with this resolution to the petition, is that the only item that the Bar Lake Improvement Board is to satisfy? Is that the only thing left on the petition? According to the resolution, they are only to satisfy the taking care of the invasive weeds.
I've been asked that question, and I've made an appointment with legal counsel to verify that.
Okay,
I can't tell you that. I'm pretty confident that the resolution, as it was made, as it was voted on at a public meeting, will stand as such.
well, and it was brought up by your attorney. He made the resolution up. This is his agreement with you. But what I'm concerned about is that if it is not just about invasive weeds, why would Mr. Gantz want to approach this board to have the resolution changed? There would be no
Obviously knows
reason.
or anticipates something that I don't know.
Well,
I will research it.
what we're running into at the Bar Lake Improvement meetings is that they are saying they have 3 parts of the petition to satisfy: the weed control, the lake level, and the watershed. But according to the resolution, the only thing they should be concerned with, the only thing that they have to satisfy is the weed control.
I followed the whole sequence. It's been explained to me completely. And as I
Sorry.
suggested- No, I'm sorry I don't have the answer for you.
Well, I'm sorry we came in late. We thought the meeting was still at 7:30. We didn't realize it was
No,
at
we
7.
changed it at 7 o'clock at first of the year.
Okay. When do you anticipate your attorney would have an answer on this? Because our next meeting is June 6th, and I would really like to have this established by then. That what are their guidelines? This has gotten so out of hand, it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Okay. I feel confident that it will be taken care of, or I'll have your answer, but I don't know what that would be.
Okay. So if we come to the meeting next month here, you should have an answer, you think?
I'll make every effort to, but I'm not going to promise you I can, no, because, it's reliant on his availability. I would think that 30 days would fit me in somewhere.
Okay. Well, it's very important that we get this taken care of because we're getting into major things that do not fall under this resolution.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else?
Yeah, I guess I'm here about the Bar Lake. I've been to all the meetings since they started, most of them all. I know I missed a couple. My biggest concern is the, I don't want to put it here, the outfit that they hired to take care of the weed eradication. I'd like to pass this up to you guys and look, and Guy, you please correct me if I'm. When we started the meetings, when they started the weed eradication program, that was submitted by, the company's name is Ann? Yeah. That is a minimum amount of invasive species in a Bar Lake. We all sat in this room, we had a nice slide presentation, etc., etc. Everything was voted upon, whatever, to start the weed eradication. On Monday's night meeting, the guy from the company basically made the statement, well, first he said this was very minimal in Bar Lake, should be pretty easy to eradicate, etc., etc., etc. Last year, I think, was the last meeting, Guy, in September?
Yes.
Okay, I think if I quote that he said it was darn near all eradicated in the Eurasian water milfoil. And the purple loose stripe, and then I think there were still some phragmite issues that were to be handled. He made the mention from the corporation or the company that now all of a sudden Bar Lake is the worst case he's ever seen as far as Eurasian water milfoil. I did speak at the meeting. I would just like this board to be aware that I think this company is doing nothing but a money grab for the taxpayers of our lake. He's also, I like to back up a little bit, when this stuff was all transpiring, we were supposed to protect the native water milfoils and other native plants and species in Bar Lake. Now, all of a sudden, on Monday's meeting, the native water milfoil is supposedly interbreeding with the bad milfoil. Now they're looking at eradicating that. I think this company is just grabbing every ounce of the taxpayers' money there is, and they're using any excuse and anything there is to get every ounce of that money there is. And I would just like this board to know that I think it's BS what's going on. You know, it's a never-ending, non-stop thing. It's never going to end. We're going to be spraying. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be killing that. We're going to be doing this. It's never-ending.
Is the funding holding up to all this activity?
So far.
So far, yeah. That's a good answer.
But the problem too is the resolution is for invasive species only. And last fall, they brought in, they want to get rid of lily pads in front of certain people. Certain people want to get rid of lily pads in front of their docks or whatever. That's a native plant. It's not invasive. The board should have nothing to do with that whatsoever.
They can do that on a parcel by parcel basis, can't they?
Right.
Yes.
Right,
They're not gonna hire this guy to do
That
but,
was not public monies.
but what happened was the board said that as long as it didn't cost our permit anymore, that they could use our permit to get rid of the lily pads. And that's not right. Our permit is supposed to be just for invasive species only. It should not have been permitted to be under lily pads. It should not have been under it. It should not have anything to do with this board. That is an individual thing that should have been handled by the association on an individual basis. They get their own permit. They handle it themselves. It should not have entered into this board situation. Our permit should not have been involved in it at all. And sorry to interrupt you, but this gets me nuts. I'm sorry.
You know, I know Mr. Dotz has been to a lot of the meetings, and he started in late last year. I know Guy's been there right from the beginning. Guy, does that chart look correct that was presented on the slideshow? Best of your ability?
That's probably the chart I have too. And I'm trying to remember the numbers, and I don't. But it's a 250 acre lake, and it was like 12 acres of 13 acres.
I think it's a 1,300 acre lake or something like that. It was very minimal.
And then there was less last summer.
Well, he basically said that they got it pretty much all.
Last fall, yeah.
When you challenged him Monday night, he did backtrack, talking when it was the worst one he'd ever seen. That was before any treatments took place.
But when we started, we
I
weren't.
understand what you're saying.
But also he presented to the whole people who are here for the township that, without dragging us on, that, you know, they basically have caught this at an early stage and before it has spread. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against getting rid of the invasive species. But now this is leading into, it's breeding with the native weeds, now we get rid of the native weeds. I mean, where is this going to end? You know, we were under the impression that the taxpayers were assessed, X amount of dollars. And if once this stuff was eradicated, if there was money left over, it was going to be redispersed back to the taxpayers, etc. What I'm reading at these meetings and going to all these meetings, maybe missing one or two, there's no end. This is going to be a constant spraying after spraying after spraying after, assessment after assessment. It's just, you can read the writing on the wall, and I still say it's a money grab by the company that's doing every effort they can to find any way they can to spend the taxpayers' money and take this money and burn it up so there's nothing left.
Well, and Mike from RLS at the meeting kind of talked out of both sides of his mouth, if you will. At one point, he said that the invasive weeds should be treated every year to keep them at bay. But then later he said, when the lake level study was brought up and whether we would have money for that, we don't have money for it, he said, well, we could forego the spraying of the weeds 1 year if that would free up money for the lake level study. Okay, so which is it?
Well, my question to you is when he brought this whole thing before the Bar Lake Improvement Board, did he tell you up front that it was going to be an ongoing thing? Did he tell you that he was going to do 3 treatments? What did he tell you?
He basically, it started out, they were going to do their survey and do the treatment. When he came, and then he would have an idea on, after they did the treatment, they would look at it again and they would know more of what was going on. He came back in the fall after the treatments and said it was a complete success. It was really taken care of. He was surprised at how well it had done, and that this spring there would probably be very, very minimal treatment of the lake because it had been such a success on the first treatment.
Is this not a 3-year assessment?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of the 3rd year, do the owners not have to vote on it again?
That would depend on how you take the petition. How long does the petition last? How long do we have to stay under the petition?
Well, I don't know if that's all true. I don't know.
I don't know either, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. Because what they are saying is at the end of the 3 years, they are saying that our assessment should go down because the treatment will be less. So in that respect, I would say no, we're not done at the end of 3 years.
Well, that's if you so, I shouldn't say that.
What did your board borrow? What did your board vote to assess?
They borrow, what
I'm
is
saying
it?
your board, I mean the group's board.
Yes.
I know it's not your board.
Is it 15 or 19?
They borrowed 15,000 from the county and then 2,500 from the township.
And then
they voted to a 3-year assessment. The Bar Lake Improvement Board voted on a 3-year assessment, correct?
Yes.
This board didn't do that. The Bar Lake Improvement Board did.
I'm not sure how it works.
And it's up to my opinion, and I'm not an attorney, I'm going to ask these questions for you. In my opinion, the Bar Lake Improvement Board at that time has to ask for future assessment.
Well, and if the petition sticks to the resolution of invasive weeds only, the improvement board is no longer necessary because they've done their job. They've got the weeds taken care of. They are no longer necessary. They have satisfied their part of the petition. They're no longer needed. At that point, I would ask this township board to either handle it with RLS or let the association handle it on their own individual basis as Chief Lake does. Those who want to contribute and get rid of weeds in front of their property can so do. If people don't want to contribute, they don't have to. It's all up to the association to handle it on an individual basis. And Chief Lake is about the same size as Bar Lake. So the board really would not be necessary. And in actuality, the township board really would not have to get into it. It can be left to the
We're into it
association.
plenty deep as it is, I believe, further than we need to be. But I will ask those questions. I certainly will.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Danny, I'm not here to point any fingers. I'm here to, my statement I made is I just wanted the township board to be aware, and no offense, Guy, but how, manipulative this company is, and then I think that it's just gonna be overspending of the taxpayer dollars, and I just would like you guys to be aware.
Sure.
Kind of like a kettle hole situation?
Or the,
Yeah. I guess you know where we're coming from then.
anyone else?
Not trying to put you guys on the spot or anything, but I just...
But I understand your questions and I'll do my best to get the answers.
Thank you, I appreciate it very much.
Chuck, do you have a quick rundown of anything over there?
I didn't have my stuff I just came right from work, but
I understand.
I did have some stuff for the ISO ratings. I don't have that with me, but we went from a 6 to a 5, which is,
Which is good, but then we should let our insurance companies.
yeah, we've improved. There was 49,000 fire departments on a graded out of 49,000. We're in the top 19,000. Well, we used to be in the top 28,000, so we've improved. And we were 3.5 points away from being in the top 10,000. So there's still room for improvement with some different things. Some pre-planning and stuff like that. And some equipment, but we did pretty well.
So we should let our insurance companies know?
Yeah, if you call your insurance company, it doesn't happen overnight because they're not going to do it for you. But a lot of with homeowners insurance, from a 6 to a 5, there probably won't be much savings, but the commercial districts will actually see more savings. They should, but it takes a little time. So if you contact your insurance companies, you can
Our
talk.
current ISO rating is a 5.
It's a 5Y. So anything that was outside the 5 miles, we have the capabilities. It used to be a 9 outside the area, outside the 1,000 feet of the hydrant. Now it's considered a 5Y. They changed the typing. But anything out like 10 miles, or excuse me, anything beyond that, I think it's 7 miles is still a 10 because of the distance. So.
But that 5Y rating is due to the dedication and the hard work that you.
Yeah, all the folks that, Tom, Frank, everybody that's put in time, the training. The training was huge, keeping track of that. We're still working on that. We're still working on everything. And then some policies that we put in place and stuff we still have to work on. And then some equipment that's outdated needs to be worked on. They kind of gigged us on that. But and pre-planning, they gigged us on that too a little bit. So, but there's a whole like 30-page thing that I can get a copy to you so we can look over it and stuff.
Thank you. And again, pass on to the folks over there our thanks for all their dedication.
How do they measure distance? By road?
Road miles, yep.
There's
5 road miles, anything over 5 road miles. I know I thought it was like, radius. No,
No,
it
that's my question.
says 5 road miles, unfortunately.
Within 5 miles of a hydrant.
No, 1,000 feet of a hydrant.
Oh.
So it's a 5 within 1,000 feet of a hydrant because you can lay line, and that 5-inch hose helped all that. That was a huge benefit factor to us. The ladder was too. Our pumping capabilities went way up. They even get us credit for the old 33. Not much, but it was 0.25, I think it was. But we were a solid 5. The rating is between 50 and 59 points, and when you go to 60, you get into class 4, and we were at 56.65. So, did pretty good.